Yeah, and I've been talking to a few young developers, and it's almost like they have to unlearn and go back to what they originally got into development for, which was to provide solutions to people.
Yeah.
That the coding wasn't the goal, and these tools just give you a new approach to get to solutions.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The idea, though, is that the coding never was the point,
Right.
right? It is always about providing business value or providing human value or like doing something to help people. So if I make some piece of code that helps me or helps my business move forward in a way, does it matter that I didn't write it all myself? In fact, I think I told you that for the podcast, the Hansel Minutes podcast, which is coming up
Hmm.
on episode 1010, I never really had a good administrative back end. I was always manually editing JSON files.
Right.
And I've literally been doing that for a decade because it's 15 minutes a week and it's just annoying enough that it doesn't really need an administrative back end. And then I sat down and I vibe coded an administrative back end, and I did it in 42 minutes. In fact, it took longer to set up uh, GitHub Actions in Azure to get it into the cloud than it did to actually write the thing.
Wow.
Once I got that set up, though, now I just push into master, and it goes up just fine. It works great. So I now have an administrative back end for the podcast that does all that tedium. It crops headshots, updates advertisers, and all that kind of stuff. I never would have gotten around to it because I would never want to give it the 10 to 15 hours of effort that it required.
Yeah, that used to require anyway. It just speaks to there's a lot of projects we just haven't got to. Like none of us was ever getting to the bottom of our to-do list. And
Yeah.
now some of that low-hanging fruit is much easier to pick.
I met the creator of Carbon, a distinguished
Hmm.
engineer out of Google. Carbon is the next version of C++, or has been purported to be. And I thought it would be cool to, because I'm interested in Commodore 64, is to make a Carbon, which is the latest thing,
Right.
doesn't even exist kind of thing, a Carbon to 6502 compiler. That would have been probably hours of tedium and, probably a weekend, a solid weekend of cobbling things together. And I was able to do it with my knowledge plus an AI agent in about 2.5 hours. It was pretty powerful, and it created something unique, but I don't think I could have done it had I not been familiar with the underlying tech and how Commodore 64s work.
It just seems like there's so much potential here. We just got to get our feet under us. So I'm hoping we can get all that together for the show. And of course, you've got the keynote to kick us off with this. Here's what you can look for in the next year.
Yeah, well, I definitely want people to understand that I am a bit of an AI vegan. There are
Hmm.
things that I don't do. I don't generate images. I don't generate videos. I recognize that there's a slider bar of problematic when you're thinking about what AI can do and what it can't do and where it came from. But I am finding value in Spicy Autocomplete, and it has
Sure.
made my life more enjoyable without me necessarily. It does the things that are dull, dirty, and dangerous, right? It does the
Yeah.
toil.
Which we've always had as developers is tools around us to do the unpleasant things. Nobody should write another cryptography library. Nobody should write a garbage collector. Like those problems have been solved.
Oh,
And
well,
now there's more things that can be solved.
90% of the Commodore 64 app was make files, So like if your problem is regular expressions and someone else can write it for you, then yeah, that'd be a problem I don't want to have.
Absolutely. Scott, I'm excited for what we're doing here in the fall. I'm excited what's coming right now. It feels like a sea change, and these don't happen that often.
They don't. It is interesting that some people are starting their careers and some people are ending their careers at the moment of
Mhm.
this sea change. So hopefully we'll provide some context to make people feel more comfortable.
Yeah, appreciate that. So that's the DEVintersection 2025 conference coming to you in Orlando at the Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort, October 5th to 10th. Go to devintersection.com to register.